to write against your name, he'll not mark won or lost, but how you played the game. Trouble is, Bernard Goldberg reports, so few people believe that.
Columbia, the Ivy League, a place synonymous with quality, 41 Nobel Prize winners. Even the football team is in a class by itself. In fact, the Columbia Lions are on the verge of making college football history. If they lose tomorrow at Princeton, Columbia will break the all-time major college football record for the most consecutive losses, 35. A lot of Columbia fans will be out tomorrow roaring for their Lions in the big game at Princeton. But many of those fans will be rooting for Columbia, not to win, but to lose.
I'd like to see him lose to Princeton just to have the streak.
We've gotten this far, we might as well just go for the record, I mean, and be famous for something.
If we can't be the best, why not be the worst?
35-0 Harvard over Columbia, and that's a good point, Pete and Dan, that they're still coming in there playing with a lot of heart.
The last time they won was in October of 1983. The seniors on this team haven't won a single game in their entire varsity careers. Still, they have a loyal band, complete with one guy who plays rigatoni. And they do have some loyal fans, like Keith Mono, who hasn't missed a Columbia game, home or away, in 17 years.
What I'm terrified of is a tie. Imagine a tie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you would lose your losing streak and not win your winning streak.
But make no mistake, losing hurts.
The feeling that you get inside of you is why you play a sport, is that feeling of winning, and I miss it a lot. You know, it really makes you sick to go out there and play hard and not win on Saturday.
They may be losing a lot, but there's a world of difference between losing and being a loser.
These young men are going to go out and become some of the most successful people in this country. The business world, government, education, and they're not losers at all. They're losing on the football field right now, but that's a correctable thing.
You're a senior, and that means you haven't won any games.
I haven't won a game, no. And that hurts really deeply in my heart, but we have to get this thing turned around, and that's why all the seniors are pulling together, and we got to get this thing turned around.
Come on now!
There's an old saying in sport, you win some, you lose some.
Many Twins fans awoke this morning with a good feeling in their heart, but a hoarseness in their voice.
I was at the game last night, and I'm one of those guys that just can't sit and be quiet, and especially when they're playing the way they've been playing.
3 solid hours of screams, cheers, and a few beers put many people at work today in this condition.
And the more you talk, the worse it gets.
But since the change in voice is not caused by a virus, except maybe Twins fever, doctors say no need to worry, it will pass.
For the most part, the average fan that yells his lungs out isn't going to do any damage at all.
The last 2 nights, the Twins gave fans even more than they expected, and the response to that was infectious.
You got tingles, you know, like, it was just, and it just comes out, you don't even think about it, you just go wild.
And it seems this is the best news for the thousands of Twins fans who stretched their voices to the limits last night. There isn't a Twins game on tonight. Tony McNary, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
Other news items to report today. Just as the city of Minneapolis had made plans to proceed with the State Arts High School, the State Arts Board canceled those plans and now has announced that the facility will be built in St. Paul. This morning, the Minneapolis City Council voted 9-4 to acquire and prepare a site near Loring Park for that facility. But late today, this afternoon, the State Arts Board decided to rescind its earlier decision and award the project to St. Paul. St. Paul had proposed building it in the lower town area. Schools, churches, and synagogues have always done their own things to treat and prevent chemical abuse among the young. But for the first time, all of these organizations will be working together to solve the problem. This is part of Chemical Health Week in the Minneapolis and St. Paul public school systems. Colleen Needles now joins us to report further on that project. Colleen?
Dave, the program and its supporters have a common goal and a common message. They want to warn kids that drugs and alcohol are dangerous. And today that message came through in an uncommon fashion in a moving statement by a young man named Ralph Strangis. Now, he's not a movie star or an athlete. He's just a regular guy who at the age of 18 wanted to have a little fun and took his first drink. Here's the message he delivered.
I come back, I'm talking to a girl, and I puke on my shoes, on my pants, on her. I go in the car, I puke again, I'm wet, I smell, the car's, ugh. Fun. In fact, it was so much fun, I was going to do it again.
And he did. And then Ralph started using pot and cocaine.
I was having so much fun, I lost my job. I lost every dime I owned. Everything. Property, money, gone.
Finally, after using 3 times the lethal dosage of cocaine, Ralph almost lost his life.
I was going to call 911 because I thought, this is it. I'm going. This is it. I'm going out. Pick up the phone, and the phone was disconnected. I hadn't paid my bill. I mean, you know, this is a real class act, ain't it?
It is a class act because 17 months ago, Ralph went into treatment and he hasn't used drugs or alcohol since. His story isn't over, nor is it always pleasant to hear, but that's why he tells it. And here's the reaction from some of the kids who heard it.
If you guys could, I don't know, I think it'd give a lot of moral support for the druggies in this class. I know it did a lot good for me because I used to be a druggie, so.
Hearing about someone else's story, you know, it has a good influence on you, and you actually hear and see that normal people have the same, can go through the same thing, and me and my boyfriend stopped drinking, you know, and it's been like a year and all that now.
Some of the questions that students asked Ralph after his presentation were just as enlightening. One young woman asked him if he'd ever thought of committing suicide. And one young man asked him how to cope with an alcoholic parent. Dave, these kids have an awful lot on their minds today.
Indeed. Thank you, Colleen. We have an interesting new wrinkle to report in building dedications. The subject was FMC Corporation's new technology center just off downtown in Minneapolis. Mayor Fraser and Governor Perpich were among the political acolytes at the head table, where the actual ribbon cutting dedicating the $27 million building took place. While outside, pickets protested FMC's contribution to ammunition and loading launching systems and armaments research. Once again, Minnesota's coffers are fuller than expected. The acting finance commissioner has reported state revenues in September exceeded predictions by $40 million. A total of $537 million was collected, making that 11 out of the past 12 months that revenues have surpassed expectations. In just a moment, we'll move on to Mike Fairborn's weekend weather outlook. First, a look at some of the banners that decorated the Metrodome last night in support of the Twins.
True Value wants you to meet
Marvin.
Marvin's been building a
Rec room.
For?
17 years.
Because every time he starts working, the phone
Rings.
And the phone is in another
Room.
Far.
Away.
Marvin should come to True Value, where right now he could get this AT&T cordless telephone 4400 for just $99.99. And this AT&T answering system 2300 is $109.99. So get to True Value's AT&T phone sale now. Marvin did, and Marvin's finally
Finished.
Try out a color, test a treatment, sample a fragrance, all in Estee Lauder's gift to you, filled with makeup, fragrance, and treatment products, including age-controlling cream and pressed satin eyeshadow in a compact. It's your bonus with any Estee Lauder purchase of $10 or more. So try it, test it, sample it, and be right at home with Estee Lauder. This Estee Lauder gift is yours through October 24th at Dayton's Cosmetics.
You only get one chance to take a picture like this. That's why you insisted on Kodak VRG film from Snyder Drug for sharpness, brilliant color, and amazing detail. And that's why you took it back to Snyder for film developing using the Kodak Color Watch system with Kodak paper, Kodak chemicals, and Kodak computer monitoring. You even got Snyder's exclusive Prints Plus. One chance. That's all you get. So you didn't take a chance. Kodak VRG film and the Kodak Color Watch system at Snyder Drug.
Save thousands. Spicklers have done it again. Factory volume purchase discounts on 88s. Save many thousands on every size and price range. Motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, but hurry in for best selection. With only up to 100 new 88s in stock, Spicklers are already setting new monthly sales records. Plus, a special purchase of 22 to 34-foot 87 travel trailers. Regularly 14 to 26,000 are now only 8 to 16,000. Spicklers, Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Well, I'll tell you, if and when we do get Indian summer this fall, it will really mean something, won't it?
Will, especially after tonight. It's a good thing the marathon wasn't run today, though. Those northwest winds, ooh, so
What's
strong.
What's it look like for Sunday for those folks?
It won't be as windy, and we'll have some sunshine. It's going to stay cold, though, right on through the weekend, David. We'll have a complete look at the marathon forecast tonight at 10 o'clock. But in the meantime, lots of clouds over us. Those clouds are producing some flurries out in the western part of Nebraska and South Dakota and back into Wyoming. We're not expecting any of that. In fact, as high pressure continues to push in, skies will clear, allowing our night tonight to be a pretty chilly one here. We'll show you in just a second. Our weather guide, we hit 40 degrees this afternoon. Our high temperature for the past 24 hours was really at midnight last night when we were 49 degrees, but the afternoon reading of only 40. 36 for the overnight low. No precipitation in the past 24 hours. Sunrise in the morning, 7:21, 6:40. Those are today's figures. 7:21, 6:40 will set tonight, the sun, okay? You won't be able to see it because the clouds are out there. Cold day today. Coldest afternoon since April the 2nd here in the Twin Cities. That takes us back a long ways, and tonight will be the coldest so far this season as we top out or bottom out around 23 degrees by morning. Last night, overnight lows in the 30s over much of the upper Midwest, 20s up to the northwest of us. It's that cold air that's sliding down over us and will be over us by daybreak tomorrow morning. Well, tomorrow's weather map, high pressure building in, pushing on to the east, all the clouds and the showers, so sunshine will return, but it is going to be a chilly weekend, not only here, but in Detroit, and I'll tell you about that, too, here in just a second. High temperatures tomorrow, 40s covering all of this region, 30s up to the north, the real warm air being squeezed pretty far to the south right now as that cold air surges all the way down into the central plain states. Well, there it is, where all the action was last night. Let's hope it comes back here next week. Cloudy, temperature 39 degrees, humidity 62%, winds northwest at 5, dew point 27, barometer 3035, and rising. Our forecast tonight, cloudy, breezy, cold, 23 degrees, northwest winds at 5 to 15. Still up there tomorrow at 10 to 15, 43 degrees for a high under sunny skies. Partly cloudy tomorrow night at 28, slightly warmer on Sunday, 48 degrees under mostly sunny skies. The extended outlook then keeps us partly cloudy the rest of the week. High temperatures warming back up into the low 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. Tonight at 10 o'clock, we'll take specific looks at Detroit's weather for the weekend and the Twin Cities Marathon weather. Okay?
All right, that's okay with me. Thank you, Mike. In a moment, Ralph John Fritz will join us with the latest on the Vikings, the Marathon, and, of course, the Twins. Meanwhile, here's what...